What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some Idle Heroes. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out with me today. If you liked the video, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button to show your support, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright guys, we're here today on the seasonal server yet again for another hero analysis. I know it's already over by now, but whatever, this is how I do things. Get on board. Anyhoodles, today we'll be going over Barea at Enable 3. As always, we'll go over the stats, not really the stats, but the skills, the gearing guide, where he's good, where he's bad, etc, etc, etc. And that's what we're going to do. So, let's jump right into it with the active skill. Oh, by the way, max tech. That's kind of important, I guess. But I have max tech for any hero I do analysis on. Always max tech. Anyhoodles, suppressed strike. Frontline enemies take 200% of his attack as damage and take 18% of the target's total health damage if their health is lower. You increase armor break by 15%, attack by 15%. Not bad. As you can see, Barea is in an interesting position. If he has higher health than the enemy he's attacking, he does 18% of their total health as damage, which is a lot of damage, but when it comes to PvE fights, you're never really going to have more HP than the boss until it's like a sneeze from death. This is mainly a PvP trait, like doing extra damage in PvP. The problem with it is, he's not super fantastic in PvP. We'll get to that. Anyways, first passive, War Weaken 3. War Weaken 3. Not 1, but 3. Anyhoodles, when using basic attack, victims decrease their armor by 25% for 3 rounds. That's obviously nice. Little armor removal. And you increase armor by 25% for 3 rounds. So, makes him a little tankier, makes enemy a little less tankier. Not bad. That armor reduction, not bad. Makes him do a little more damage, and again, fighting bosses, that's never a bad deal. Never a bad deal. Iron Body 3, increase HP by 40%, attack by 35%, and armor by 40%. Decent amount of armor on this dude. Last passive here, Violent Attack on round 4, increases critical chance by 60% and increases critical damage by 100%. This is where Barea gets good. Everything up to now is kind of like, yeah, it's not bad, not bad. This is what makes him shine. Once you hit round 4, his critical chance goes through the roof, and his critical damage also goes through the roof. So he does a lot of damage, and he hits very, very hard. That's what you want. It's exactly what you want. But anyhoodles, with that said, like I said earlier, he does get a decent scaling against PvP units with his active skill. The problem is, he's not super great in PvP because he has to live till round 4 before he starts doing a lot of damage and bursting. Usually he's dead by then. Dead or crowd controlled. One or the other. So he's not really fantastic in PvP. I've seen people use him in PvP, mainly in official or early game private server. You don't see him in in-game teams. At least I haven't seen a Barea in in-game teams in a while. So kind of falls off there. Mainly, in my opinion, a PvE unit. But let's jump over here to the gearing. The stone. I've heard a lot of different uses here. Okay, if you're mainly throat, if you're focusing on like a PvP Barea, which I wouldn't recommend, a lot of people go all HP. The reason they go HP is it gives them a massive amount of damage with his active skill versus other warriors in the front line because he's going to do 18% of their total health as extra damage. It's not bad. And if you've got more health than them, which Barea can have a pretty high amount of health if you build them with HP stones and such, you might get there. You absolutely might get there. But for me, I built mine more for damage. PvE kind of damage. I've tested a lot of the stones, and attack, armor break actually was one of the hardest hitting stones I found. I tried crit and crit, attack and just straight flat attack, and this usually did better. On almost every test, armor break did better for me. Now, I don't have a huge amount of armor break in my team. I don't have like a 10-star Sigmund, I got a 6-star Sigmund, so I'm not removing tons and tons of armor, but I am removing a decent amount of it. This just kind of helps get him into the damage mode a little faster, I guess, and it worked best for me. Like I said, when you build your own Barea, test him however you want. That's the fun in the game, is finding out what you like the best, not just what I say. But this is what worked best for me over testing. Armor break, attack, and attack. Not bad. Like I said, if you have a couple Sigmunds, or at least one good 10-star Sigmund, you might be able to do better with just flat attack or double crit instead of this. But since I only got a 6-star, this worked best for me. When it comes to the artifact, a lot of different artifacts I guess you can run on him, again, depending on what you want to do with him. If you're focusing in PvP, you might be better off with some kind of reduced damage HP artifact. A, it's going to boost his HP. B, reduced damage means he'll more likely to last around 4. But again, I really wouldn't recommend a Barea for PvP. It's just not my recommendation. If you wanted to build him, you could. I would say probably don't. When it comes to PvE, obviously the options narrow down a little bit. You're looking for damage in PvE. So anything that boosts your damage, obviously, is going to work in this slot. Class-specific artifacts are very good. Punisher Staff of the Immortal, obviously, really solid as well. Attack, crit, and crit. Pairs pretty well with Barea, using a lot of crit. Antlers Cane works for skill damage. Really, anything that boosts attack, crit percentage, or even skill damage is going to work a decent amount of damage into Barea. That's what you're looking for if you're going for PvE. So really, any kind of damage-boosting artifact you can use, and for PvE, any kind of damage-boosting stone will give you at least some net gain in results. Now, because we're on seasonal server, you can pick enables. I have run for the first tests the normal enables. The top 3, the ones you get in official, and then after this, we'll swap over and do some testing with obviously the seasonal and the private server enables. So, with that done, let's jump in. We're going to do some broken spaces, because like I said, he's not really a PvP unit, and that's male. I have no Marauders, because at this state in the seasonal, usually they're all killed immediately. Makes sense, everybody's got good teams. So let's jump in here. Oh, this guy's going to die really fast. What about you? I'm assuming this is a priest, right? Little disciple dude. It is a priest. We can test it here in a second. I haven't tested it much, but it's okay. Broken spaces, the little priest guy. Let's go ahead and do a battle against him. Barea, we're going to run the crit staff on him for 2 battles. Then I'll swap to a priest damage artifact for 2 battles. Then we'll swap enables and do the same thing. Sound good? Sounds good. Let's jump in and do it. Another thing to take away here before we go into the battle is the monster choice. Oops, leave you there, Barton. But you obviously get much better damage out of a dragon than you will out of a deer. I used a deer for sustain. It was more of an all-around choice than just straight damage choice. I would say dragon is probably the best for Barea, but even something like the golem isn't bad with 60% crit damage coming in when it drops. That's not terrible. But anyways, with that said, not optimized for super damage here, but we're going to see what we can get out of it. Hopefully it's a decent amount. Now, from what I've tested before, the unit here is the unit that you use the class-specific artifact for. So on the other dude, the fire broken spaces, he's a warrior. I swapped the warrior damage artifact on and do a lot more damage. I assume this is going to be a priest. It just makes sense, and we'll test it out, and we'll see how good he actually does with a priest artifact on. So first up, just going to go through the normal battles. He won't hit quite as hard, I would assume, because he's using the official enables, which don't really lend themselves super well to his damage, but it's okay. It's alright. Once we get to the private server enables, you'll see probably a pretty marked increase in his damage, but whatever. Let's get through this. 1.8 millions of damage from the basic attack. What's he dropping this active? We shall see soon. Amu's doing pretty hot. 6 million damage from the active skill there. Not a bunch of damage, but that's okay. We're just going to watch one of them out, then we'll next the next one, just to kind of get a decent baseline of where his attack ranges between. Then we'll swap the artifacts off, do the same thing, swap enables, do the same thing. It'll be a deal. So 9.65 million damage there, that's not bad. I can deal with that. Not bad at all. 2.8 with the basic attack. I'm assuming probably around 40 to 50 million. Maybe 60. Probably 40 or 50. It sounds about right. I'm smelling 40 or 50 in the air. Haven't tested against this guy yet, though, so we'll see. He might be higher. I don't know. I don't know. Here it is. Last round completed. 153 million damage. And Barea dropped about 44 million. So that's pretty much on point there. 44 million damage. Not bad, not amazing. Amuvor obviously dropping some pretty nasty damage there. 83 millions. But let's go ahead and do that again. Wrong one. Battle, regular like so, and just next through it, and see where his damage ranged from. In this case, 33 million, so actually a little less this time. And like I said, that's at the end, like the last couple attacks, a single crit can knock you down 10 million damage in your overall damage. So I would say between 30 and 50 million probably, which isn't crazy, but also a thing to remember here, these aren't like Marauders. These have a 30% reduced damage, I believe, around about. So you also have to deal with not just armor, but reduced damage as well. Taken into a Marauder fight, he would do about 30% more damage. Generally, that's what I've seen from my units as I test them. Amuvor dropped about 100 million. Go Amu. Tear him up. Tear him up, Buttercup. Bitty Hoodles. Throat clear. Let's go ahead and swap over the artifact to a priest damage. Assassin priest. There we go. Like I said, I believe he's a priest. 67% sure. My throat's going nuts here. Sorry for your ears, but it's okay. You'll forgive me later. Maybe. Any Hoodles, we'll watch this one out and see what happens. I expect much better damage, which maybe I'm wrong, but usually when you swap to a class specific on someone like Barea, his damage increase is pretty noticeable. However, he's not going to have a lot of crit right now until round 4. And even then, he's only have about, 80%? Because he gets 20% natural crit, I think, from the tech. Whatevs. We'll see. Round 4's here. There's a 1.5 million damage. I'd like to see some 10 mil plus crits off of this, because with the class-specific artifact, obviously you're hitting, 90% increased damage, which is not bad. He does lose, obviously, the crit percent and the crit damage, which is a pretty big deal, and the attack. But normally, they actually outperform the Punisher staff. So we'll see. You never know. We'll test it out, then we'll swap over to the private server enables and do the same deal, and it'll be all good. It'll be all good. So, 7.8 million, not hitting super duper hard, but not super weak either. I mean, 7 million damage isn't bad. But he does have a lower crit chance now, so that might play into his damage as well. We'll see. 2.82 mil with the basic attack. It's about where he was before, I believe. Let's see, with the active, 9.39 mil. That's not bad. That's up there. So I'd say it might actually be a pretty close fight. He might be pretty similar to his last time. I don't know. We'll know for sure in another round. That's how you do it. You just wait and test it and patience, and it's the way to go. So here we are, wrapping things up here. A last round coming in. Oh, didn't crit with his last attack. That's going to stink a little bit. But whatevs. Whatevs. 166 million damage. Barea dropping 41 million. Not a huge change in damage. So we'll do a one more. Oops, I keep clicking on the stupid fire guy. Do this, dude. Here we go. And next. There it is. Defeated. 135 million, Barea dropping 33 mil. So I actually hung about the same damage swapping over the artifacts. And that should go to show you he's definitely a priest. Because if he wasn't a priest and you swapped out all that crit and crit damage just for attack, you'd do about nothing. But it does show you how strong class-specific artifacts are. I mean, just a regular class-specific artifact did the same for my damage as the Punisher staff. A hugely powerful attack-based artifact. So, something to keep in mind there. But with that said, let's go ahead and start swapping these enables around, because that's where he starts to really shine, is with the better enables. So we're going to go ahead and drop a violent attack on, which is going to boost his crit at round 4. Mightiness will leave. Drop resilience, though. On round 4, increases crit chance and crit damage. Obviously, that's going to scale pretty well with Barea, who gets a nice amount of crit and crit damage anyways. But my other favorite one here for attack-based units is here, Spell Control. When using basic attack, increases skill damage by 25%, and it just keeps stacking. So by the end of the round, you can hit really big numbers, and that's what I like. So these are my 3 favorite enables for most damage dealers that I've run so far. Obviously, that changes depending on what you're fighting. If you're fighting crowd control units, obviously you want some crowd control resistance, things like that. Things that nuke really hard, you want some survivability. But generally speaking, for max raw damage, these 3 enables generally perform the best. With that said, we'll go ahead and leave the priest artifact on him for now. And we're probably going to end up killing this dude in a couple of hits. But whatever, not a huge deal. We'll watch this one out, then next it, swap back to the Punisher staff, and rinse and repeat. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're going to do. Probably be a little bit longer because we're testing double battles, and again, swapping everything out. It's a thing. It's going to take a little long to get the testing done, but that's all right. It's all for educational purposes. All for educational purposes. So, round 4 is here. 1.67 million damage. You're like, it's not that much, Wrath. It isn't yet. But it will stack up toward the end. 5.7 million with the active skill. That's not bad. I don't believe you have to actually reset anything to make him change his passives. Actually, I think we're good. I'm 65% sure it just swaps him over. I don't think you have to actually take him out of your lineup and put it back in or anything weird like that. We'll see. 9.7 million. If we start getting to 12 and 14 million by the end, we'll know it's swapped over, because that doesn't happen normally. All right? 3.53 mil with the basic attack at round 9. That's not bad. I can deal with that. Let's see what the active skill does. Hoping for above 10. 14. Okay, so they definitely swapped over. All right, the passives have kicked in. He's doing pretty good. We got 3 more rounds to go. Let's see what he can get up to. 3.62 with the basic attack. That's also not bad. I can deal. Absolutely can deal with that. I'd like to see a 20 million drop, but I don't know if he can reach that. Nope, 16 million on the, Ooh, Cruz gave him his skill back. That's fun. That's fun. So he will get to hit him again one more time. 20 million. Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Get in there. Cruz coming through clutch, giving the skill back. That's nice. 196 million damage. Obviously a market increase in damage here. With Barea now doing 87 million. And again, this damage is reduced by about 30% because they have 30% reduced damage on your Broken Spaces bosses. Expect over 100 million versus Marauders. I think I did 137 million versus Walter the other day. That's not bad. Outdamaged Amuvor right there. But again, this is private server only. On official server, don't expect crazy damage from Barea. It won't be terrible, but it's also not going to be this. So, 87 million. We'll go ahead and next through the next one. It might actually kill him. We'll see. I think it might just kill him outright. It might not. It might not. No, we lost. Yay! 195 million. Barea dropping 74. So 74 to 80-ish plus million. Not bad damage on the private/seasonal servers from Barea. Like I said, though, on official, don't expect quite as much. I would still say on official you could easily reach 70, 80 million damage versus Marauders with him. But, you know, at that point, should you just take somebody else instead? We'll see. Any hoodles, that's done. Let's go ahead and swap over to the last artifact. Do you guys want to watch this last one through or just next it? You know what I'm saying? Let's just next it. You've watched me beat on this guy for like 40 minutes. You're probably bored of watching me just attack the same guy. Man, he's going to die for sure. And I believe the next guy is still the same one. This one won't count. Doesn't count. Don't even look at it. Okay, he's dead. Let's go ahead and buy a couple of these, or just buy one of them. That's all we need. This one is an assassin, I believe. Correct? Little bitty midget dude. You are an assassin. So let's go ahead and swap your artifact. Actually, oh wait, never mind. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're using the crit staff, so it's whatevs. Never mind. Never mind. Let's just battle it out like so, and we'll just next through it twice and see where his damage runs. I do believe they have the same amount of reduced damage regardless of their level. I could be wrong there. We'll see. 142 million damage. Barea dropping 58 mils. Not bad. Amuvor definitely took a little hit to his damage there as well. I don't think he's dying. Pretty sure no one's dying. Wouldn't make sense at 400. Let's do it again. One more time. Like so. And 156 million. Amu dropping 70. Barea dropping 60. So there might be a little more reduced damage involved here. I don't know 100%. I guess we can swap to an assassin artifact just once. Just one time. Just to see. Just to see a little bit. Assassin is you? Yep. Just because. We'll smash through it. Not a big deal. Go ahead and buy a couple more of these. Gonna need them. Gonna need them. Let's go ahead and battle like so. And see where his damage goes with just the assassin artifact on... Beep. Wait. Did I test the assassin? I think I did. I don't remember. Any hoodles, 75 million damage there. Not bad. Let's do it again. And like so. Next. 169 million with 79 million from Barea. So like you see, the Punisher Staff, which is a fantastic artifact, when it comes to boss fighting, you're generally better off or equally the same damage comes from the class-specific artifacts. Not a bad deal. Versus Marauders, I did hit substantially higher with the class-based artifacts. Not so much in the Broken Spaces. That could just be because the reduced damage kind of nullifies the massive amount of damage boost you would have. Whatever. Not a big deal. So he does a pretty decent amount of damage, like I said. Barea. What to say about Barea? Can be used in PvP. Not really recommended. When it comes to PvE, he's not bad. Okay, I'm not going to say he's a bad unit, because he does hit pretty hard. But are there better units in PvE? Yes. Barea, while he looks really cool, I would say he's not somebody, unless you just really want to build one, that you should go out of your way to build. Because he's not going to do anything substantial for you in any one area. He's not going to be your PvE god. Like I said, Emuvor, Walter, Edga even is probably going to keep pace with or out damage Barea in most cases. That's pretty much what he does. In the Aspen dungeon, he does have some use because he does, gets the resilience and such. He can heal a little bit. He can break some nodes for you, but he's not even the best at that. Like, he's okay at it. I'm not going to say he's like, oh, he sucks at that. He doesn't suck, but he does die pretty early on because he has to get to round 4 for his damage to kick in, which means he has 4 rounds of damage taken before he can really start nuking, whereas something like a Faith Blade is going to nuke on round 1. So Barea, while he's a really cool hero and I really like him, I would say probably not worth the E3 build as your first E3 for sure. Like I said, unless you really like him. If someone you really enjoy and say, Barea is so cool, I really like Barea, build him. Absolutely build him. If you like him, that's the point. Build him. But I can't say that he's really like dead set top notch worth a build. In PvE, he does get out damaged by a lot of units, and in PvP, he kind of gets dumped on. Generally speaking, early game PvP is really strong, but late game, he just gets crapped all over. There you go. That's Barea's analysis. Not the best hero in the game, but he's not terrible either. That's a glowing, review of him. He's not horrible, but he's not awesome either. He's pretty cool looking, decent damage, nothing super fantastic. Like I said, 80 million damage versus broken spaces isn't terrible damage. Okay, it's still pretty decent, and it's up there. So he does have viability in PvE, not so much PvP. Up to you if you want to build him. I probably won't build one. Just going to say it. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please make sure, smash that thumbs up button and show your support. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well, and tell your friends about it, because that definitely helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next one.